The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
When life shapes us, when love anchors us, when loss changes us, we are not left behind. We are carried forward, held by faith, rooted in purpose, finding our way. This is Carried Forward, a space for stories of resilience, purpose, and forward resolve. Good morning and welcome to Carried Forward. I'm your host, Shauna Nissen. Most of you know me, and hopefully there's new people out there that don't know me, and go back to my first few episodes and you'll learn more about my story. But today it's just me. I don't have a guest. A guest will still be coming soon, but today it's just going to be me talking about just something that's been on my heart for quite a while. I'm making room for what matters. And that looks different for everybody, obviously. For me, it has been slowing down, not having so many goals, not beating myself up when I don't meet all my expectations. Being gentler with me, being slower, staying in one place for a little while. And it's not, and also making room for what matters in my home, like physically. After my husband died in 2016, I did get rid of a lot of things, not right at first, but after over a few years, and when I downsized, I had to get rid of a lot of our belongings. But I realized lately that I still have quite a few things that I don't really use, I don't need. And quite frankly, a whole garage full of stuff that I could probably filter through, which is what I'm starting over the next 6 to 12 months. That's my plan. But I'm also giving myself some grace if I don't meet that deadline. Those are my guidelines, I guess. And this is not, I'm not talking about like a minimalist trend or anything like that, even though I have done some research into that and like decluttering your clothes, all that stuff. It's more about like, as we process grief, as we move forward, as we find who we are in life with new purpose, with new freedoms, in our faith, and just creating space, not only in our physical space, but in our mind. And sometimes I wonder, well, what I've been learning lately is that God speaks more clearly when we live and become a little bit quieter. I was recently reading, I read all kinds of things, but listening or reading a book, and they were just saying like, God is not someone that is, he doesn't yell at us. Like, he's very much someone that whispers and wants to be listened to. Gonna move my light a little bit. So I have been leaning into that more often, and not because I think for a while I was just like, Lord, please just yell at me, tell me what I need to do. But the more I, learn about God's character in the Bible and truly listen to what he has to say to me, I realized that he's not going to, one, force me to do anything, and then two, he's not going to yell at me and like shake me. there are times that I feel like he has like put some things in front of my face and been like, okay, you're not getting this, girl. Like, you need to see that, this person doesn't need to be in your life or something, like you're going in the wrong direction. I have seen that, but it's never like smack you in the face or like what I always want. And I'm like, Lord, just tell me, but that's not how he works. So, listening and learning to people that are much more, I guess, experienced in their faith and hearing the Lord and walking that path and being obedient, and even through the hard times, listening to the wise counsel around me. I've learned, like, stop praying for something that's not going to happen, right? Start leaning into something that is who God is, God's character is, and that is getting quieter in my life, what that looks like for me. So I can hear what he has for me, because that's truly what I want. I am learning that God doesn't give me a 10-year plan like I had hoped, like like my soul wants. And he knows who he created, but like I want that 10-year plan. That's not how he works, right? He gives us just a little bit more rope, a little bit more light, so we can see what to do next. Probably because if he gave us the whole plan, we would screw it up, or I know I would probably, or wouldn't get it quite right. But so I've been really working on like downsizing my life. And my life is definitely not as full as it used to be. Obviously, I used to be in the military full time, and even a group commander's exec. I used to be a wife, and then at one point I was a full-time caregiver for him, along with working, and then being a full-time mom, along with everything else, that like keeping a household, and I went to school, and trying to do all the things to be in line for promotion, stuff like that. And my life doesn't look like that, obviously, anymore. And I miss a lot of that, but a lot of it I'm like, okay, that's just not what I'm doing anymore. But my life is full in the fact that for me, I've always felt like I need to be doing something. I need to have a plan. I need to be working towards something. And for me, that's what I have started to taper down on. I even had a doctor that I was going to recently, a chiropractor, that will be a guest on my show in the near future, because I love what he has to say, and he's a veteran and he has his own story, and I think he has something to share with us. But we were talking, and he was like, well, Shauna, what's your goal? Like, let's work on some goals, because he is about a whole body kind of mind, body, soul kind of philosophy in his chiropractor practice, which I think is amazing. It's much more than just we're much more than just the sum of our parts, right? And I was telling him, you know what? Like, I do not, like, my goal is not to have goals, not to have a plan right now. I was like, that probably sounds odd to you. And he was like, no, I get it. But it's because all my life I've always had some kind of plan or some next step that I needed to do, and that I beat myself up about because I wasn't meeting all my expectations of how that looks like. So what I've been doing lately is just like doing the next step. Of course, I do have some general plans, health, meaning mental health and physical health, organization of my house, getting rid of some things that I don't need, family, making sure that I am doing well with my relationships, and be that family or friends, creativity. I'm trying to write a book that I keep plugging away at and then falling off. This podcast, I've done some creative, like journal workshops, like writing workshops, and like, because I am a creative person. So yes, I have some like pillars, I guess you would say, of my life, but I'm trying not to have so much of like, Shawnee, you have to meet this destination and it needs to look like this. And if you don't meet that destination in 6 months, then you're just a horrible person and you suck. Cause that's my mental, like you are worse than everyone else in the world and you're never going to amount to anything. So I'm trying to work on that and not have my life be too full with possessions or commitments or subscriptions, right? Like before you know it, you have like 10 streaming subscriptions, and for females, like clothing, and some males, and makeup and all this, like checking myself with my subscriptions. My responsibilities have just naturally tapered off. They're not quite as much, but paying attention to my responsibilities and which ones that I really need and which ones that I'm grasping onto, because I have an adult daughter now, and like realizing, okay, Shauna, that's not your responsibility anymore. And she's beautiful in the fact that she gently corrects me, like, I didn't really ask for your to solve that problem for me, Mom. And she's not being ugly. She's just gently reminding me, like, I can do this. You've given me the tools, which is amazing. At first it's abrupt, but then you're like, okay, yes. And allowing her to speak her truths into me, and calming down on my expectations for myself. I am a bit of a perfectionist or recovering perfectionist. And then even like paying attention to my dreams, like not trying to set myself up for failure in regards to what I want to do, right? Is that possible? Like, I want to clear out my garage. It needs to be better organized and a lot of things need to go. But me, I'm like, well, I can do that in one weekend, right? No, I can't. But the unhealed Shauna would have been like, you suck. You didn't get that done in one weekend. Like, what other adult wouldn't be able to get that done? You're ridiculous. But the fact of the matter is I have a garage full of 2 people's lives, actually 3 people's lives. And I'm the only one that's dealing with the garage stuff. I'm the only, so giving myself some grace, like anyone can, probably empathize with that when you go through a divorce or you have a death in the family and you're the only one left standing, like, and then or your adult child's move out, like you have all the things that nobody wants, and then when the person dies, like you have all the things that's left behind for them, and then like you have to decide what to do with them, and that's a lot. That's not even just like physically a lot, that's emotionally a lot. And no, I have a lot less than I did 10 years ago, but I still have paperwork and things like that I need to go through. And as I sit here and tell you, I'm beating myself up going, like, 10 years, Shauna, you should already gone through that. But there's been a lot going on. And granted, I have had some periods in my life that I really did get rid of a lot of things. And just realizing like there are a few things I'm like, oh man, I kind of miss that. But you're the one, when you're the one left standing, right? You have to make those decisions and you have to be able to live with them and not be so hard on yourself. So, and I know garage is a simple example, but I'm sure it's something everyone can relate to. My closet, I have clothes from when I was 15, probably still up in there. And granted, my closet's not as full as it used to be, but it definitely needs to go through. And I know, ladies, you can relate. because truly I only wear probably half my clothes. So, and a lot of them are workout clothes. So I don't really need that many other kind of clothes. Um, don't even get me started on paperwork. Yeah. Like I am, when I used to work, I'm great at organizing other people's paperwork, but my own paperwork, it's just, I don't, raise your hand. Who else is emotionally attached to different paperwork? I have mortgage houses that Andy and I bought together, paperwork from over now 15 years ago, still in there because it was something Andy and I did together that I need to filter through. The ones that I don't need to keep for IRS purposes or something. And then just feeling like when I let all that into my head and I don't give myself grace, I will wake up feeling behind. And then that's what leads to depression for me. Like, because I'm like, I am. And then when you isolate and you're in your own head and you're like, I'm the only one in the world that is sucking at life, right? And no, I'm not. I know I'm not. When I get out and talk to other people, like, it's not that bad. We all have things that we're struggling with. So I just wanted to take time this morning to talk about making room, making space for hearing God, for hearing yourself, and giving yourself grace. I'm not real good at that, but I hope I can help others be better, learn from my mistakes. When I let all that come in, like when I'm like my life gets too full, meaning like it's really my mind gets too full. I realize that I'm not overwhelmed because my life is hard. I'm overwhelmed because my mind is too full. And maybe I'm doing things that I feel that I need to do rather than I actually need to do. And then they're on top of everything the things that I actually need to do. And I know people can relate. I'm not the only one out there, but I just wanted to discuss this because it's something that I'm like real time going through right now. So, like, what are you carrying that no longer belongs in this season? And I guess that is the true what's going on with me right now. I'm trying to filter out because, like, I've gone through a lot of transition. And most recently, is my daughter, moving out of the house. But before that, like, I was still dealing with transition of being a single mom, being a single parent. And 10 years probably sounds like a long time, but it's really not to get through all the things. And I made a lot of changes in those 10 years. So I think right now in this season, what I've been doing is trying not to make so many changes and just kind of see what needs to stay in my life and what during this transition season needs to go. And what I truly want to stay, and who I am. And I think when things get quieter and you don't have like for me, all the responsibilities of being a single parent, single mom, actively for your child and doing all the things get quieter and you get to see. I mean, this is not new. This is like this is new for me, right? and in this season, I'm trying to do the best with it and go, okay, things are getting quieter. What do I need? What do I not need? And that goes across the board. As I said, that's like physically, my garage, that's mentally in my mind, that's physically with my fitness. That's even changed. I used to love being a gym rat. I'd spend hours in the gym lifting weights because I did figure competitions. And then I went on and before that, I was a marathon runner and I constantly was running, which I still love running. I went running this morning. It just looks different. I don't run, I do a run walk. So it's just like changing and transitioning. And I just think it's an important conversation to have. So my question to you, and let me know, what are you carrying that no longer belongs in this season? And these are kind of questions that I ask in my journaling workshops, because I don't think a lot of times we take the time. We're just living, we're doing, and we don't take the time to actually go, are all these things that I really need to be doing? Are they helping me? Are they helping others? And I'm not saying like only pay attention to the things that are helping you. Not, that is not what we're called to do. We're called to help others, right? But sometimes we have to transition and realize like, okay, this is no longer looking the way that I had hoped, and it's not helping me, and therefore it's not really helping others, right? When you begin to fall down in your own stuff and not feel good about what you're doing, then what you're putting out, what you're pouring out of your cup isn't going to look as great as it used to. And as time changes, we have to change with that, right? Which brings me to like grief. And that doesn't just mean like grief blatant in your face, losing your spouse, your life changes. I'm not just talking about that grief. I'm talking about all kinds of grief, like loss of a job, loss of a pet, loss of a parent, loss of your child moving out. Like they're not really gone, but they're no longer with you. Like you're in that grief, all that losing, your priorities change, right? And that is what has happened. Sorry, I keep looking at myself rather than looking at you, but that I'm learning. I'm still learning on this podcast and stuff. But as we share, as we continue to go and we change, like our life changes, be it through loss or be it through just like transitioning, moving to a new place, losing friends, like our priorities change. And it's not necessarily in a dramatic way. It's in that subtle way, right? And sometimes those are the like biggest changes that happen because they sneak up on us. And we have to realize like what things just are not serving me or others anymore. And that happened a lot. It's happened a lot over time. It happened a lot with Andy, which was a huge transition because I had to realize that I couldn't be that Shauna anymore. I had to be this new Shauna that no longer existed with Andy. And so that part of me died too. But that doesn't mean that new parts weren't born, that the old parts weren't, some of them weren't still there and helping me, right? But I had more recently, I guess I've allowed myself to go, wow, like I've really changed. And the things that I used to like, I don't like all of those anymore. Like it's, prime example, like going to the gym. Like now I like going to the gym maybe once or twice a week, twice a week. And it still feels good. And I do it because I know I need to build my muscle as I age, right? Good for your bones, and good for your strength. Like I know that. But I've found different ways to do some workouts. Like I love going paddleboarding now, where before I used to never do that. And that helps your strength and endurance and cardio, getting out there, and your mind. So I love it all in one. So just realizing like, and also I've realized like going to the gym and spending an hour in the gym, that time spent in that gym, in that room, like lifting those weights, that time's a lot more precious to me nowadays than it used to be. I don't know, maybe that's an age thing. I don't know if that's necessarily a grief thing, but it definitely happens, right? Time just becomes more precious to us. And as like your children get older and they move out, and like you used to be like, oh gosh, like I just need 30 minutes of peace, right? And run into the bathroom. Like just need a break from all of this, from, the people in my home. But then now I'm like, can I get 30 minutes with you, Athena, to have dinner or something? So it's just like time and what matters and how it matters just changes. And I mean, I know I'm not the first one, obviously, right? It's just the reality of it really, really is true. I know everyone's heard that. Like, as you grow and change and life situations change, different things become more precious to you. Relationships become deeper. I've always been someone that has more quality rather than quantity relationships. But I will say that I've had to learn how to have quantity relationships too, right? Because being a widow, that was her best friend was her husband. And like you guys I did everything with Andy. I've had to learn how to get out and go like meet people, and and sometimes the meetings are great and we connect and we stay doing things together. And sometimes it was just in passing, like, oh, that was really good to know you. And I'm glad we got to talk, and then we go about our lives, right? I mean, and the military did prepare me for that kind of relationship, because I met a lot of people along the way that I didn't necessarily stay forever in contact with. But then there are a few people out there across the world that I've met and I've stayed in good contact with, and that's beautiful. Like I think because I've had to put myself out there even more, I've been able to realize like the importance of relationships and the importance of me trying to make relationships, if that makes sense, because relationships are hard, and I'm not a people person, honestly. I'm somewhat an introvert. I like doing things on my own. I don't mind going to restaurants on my own. I don't mind going to the theater on my own. I don't mind even going to listen to music on my own and having drinks, even though it makes everyone around me uncomfortable, because that's what's the weird part. It's not me. I enjoy doing it. It's fine. It's like there's certain places, and I've talked to a few people this week about it, that you go and you go, you know what? I'm making others around me uncomfortable because I'm by myself. I'm not uncomfortable. But they don't seem to enjoy, and I don't know if that's an American thing. You guys give me some feedback on that. But like, I really enjoy doing things on my own. Not everything on my own, but there are certain venues and things that people are weirded out if you show up on your own. And it's like, okay, I'm okay. I've even had a friend that people has bought her dinner because she was by herself. No, I'm not as approachable as that, so people don't buy me dinner. But it's just funny. Anyway, but getting off on a tangent. The point being is that like really, as I've gotten older, and even though I'm kind of an introvert, I'm not much of a people person. I have realized just how important it is to sometimes plow through your discomfort, or your like, I don't really feel like dealing with people today, to build a good relationship. Because I around the world, literally around the world, have built some really good relationships with people that if I would have just been like staying to myself and not wanting to talk to anyone, and I've been there, done that, then I wouldn't have met them. I wouldn't have made that connection. And then I wouldn't have had some amazing experiences. So I just, for those fellow introverts out there, or fellow non-people people, I encourage you to, when you're feeling your cup is full, to go out there and make the connections. Try to have friends in situations that you wouldn't maybe have friends, and just see what it brings to you. Because I've met some amazing people just I happened to be sitting beside them and chat them up. Where normally I'm just like doing my own thing, reading my book, don't talk to me. But there's some days that I do, and it's been rewarding. So those people, sometimes people it up, right? Try to make some connections. The other things that have changed for me is that I don't know, it's not a big change, but I've always enjoyed experiences over things. And I think I'm seeing that more shift in society, but I know that's been something that Andy and we enjoyed doing things and traveling. And that's carried over with me into my single life. And then even more so because like now that I've been living on my own for quite some time now, I realize like I don't need much. Like a chair, a computer, some food, in a bed, like, and for me I could sleep on a mat, so I don't really need a bed. But like I don't need much. I really don't need all the clothes that I have. So like I am leaning towards more and more and I guess that's what I'm getting at is like I'm clearing out things where I don't have a lot of possessions, right? So I can be more and more free to up and go wherever I need. Just one huge thing that has changed for me, and others may not have this, but I had a hard time balancing peace over achievement. Like I truly, truly felt that I needed to achieve big things. Like I graduated high school early. I, got my bachelor's, which a lot of people do. Uh, I became an officer in the Air Force. Like these are big achievements for me. When Andy got sick, I tried to be the best caregiver by researching and doing all the things for him and trying to be the best mother, which I'm sure I came up short on that. But and even being the best caregiver, I'm sure I wasn't. But like I really put effort and like it became my job, right? And then not then, but before that, I did figure competitions. I ran marathons, just always trying to achieve something. And I spoke about it a little bit before when I was talking about not having goals, but I've just started realizing like I think it really hit me on the top of a mountain in Germany as I was hiking the Alps. And I don't know how many feet up, but it was raining, the wind was blowing. Anya, if you're watching this, I know you're laughing. I couldn't see her, I couldn't see the guide. They were way ahead. I was on top of a mountain getting blown all over the place. Couldn't see where I was going. I was very much following my feet. I knew that there was a path. I knew the general direction I needed to go to. But on top of that mountain, I was just like, you know what? I have nothing to prove to anyone, and I don't have anything to prove to myself. I know I've hiked these Alps before. I have done a lot of hard things. And I was just like, I'm done. So we got back that evening to the hut. And I talked to the guide. I was like, what's the weather going to look like tomorrow? Because I was like, you can't just like cold turkey achievement when you've been driven by achievement a lot. But I was like, what's the weather look like tomorrow? And he's like, oh, it's probably going to be the same, which means wind and rain. And good thing it wasn't super, super cold, but there was definitely snow not far from us. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, and it probably could get worse. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. I said, I'm going to walk back down. There was someone else going back down the mountain. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to walk back down the mountain and tell my friend Anya, I will see you on the other side. And I was like, you go, have fun, but I am done. I'm done with my hike. So it was, I think I was 4 days into a 6-day hike. And it was, I mean, the Alps, Germany, beautiful, love it. But I was not being able to see that. So anyway, that is the pinnacle point that I think I started shifting. Like, wow, I don't have to like prove myself to anyone. I'm good. So I'm gonna take a little as my achievement. I just was wrap that up. Like my mind has been shifting. So I'm no longer like super driven by like, I need to achieve all these things. I want peace. And like, I just like grief and transition has stripped away a lot of illusions for me. It's taught me that almost everything is temporary except for love, right? That consists in you and your mindset, right? But everything is impermanent, right? As we cycle through. And as I say that, I am going to bring up a commercial here. And I just want to remind everyone that MBR it runs on donations from you. And it's such a great organization. It supports military members like myself to be able to sit here and talk, but so much more than that. Check out some of the other podcasts. But it does. They run on donation, and just I will put some links in my information on Facebook. Please reach out and donate. We have a specific need, which this platform, StreamYard, is not cheap, but they provide it to us veterans so we can do this. But to be able to have this platform, we do need donations for you to help us. We would love that. I am going to put on a commercial here. I thought I could find one that talked about that. But I will plug in some information in regards to how you can donate, because MBR does so much more. They have other shows, and they give to the community, and they help us veterans. So it would just be amazing if you would take time, my audience would take time to donate to them. And like I said, that one major need that's happening right now is the platform that we use for these podcasts to push out to all the social media platforms out there. That cost, and it's not cheap. So we would appreciate anything that you can give. But I'm going to do a little video right now, commercial.
Signed up to fight for freedom. What a price you had to pay. Picture in a helmet, missing family every day. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane. Some scars we'll never see. She will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. On that old dusty base with the meadows that shine, she's been to hell and back for the stars and the stripes. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane, and some scars we'll never see, and she will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve, 'cause you can't spell hero without her. Yeah, yes. For the ones that didn't make it, we will pause and then we cry. We can still see their smile in every sunrise. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve, 'cause you can't spell hero without her. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her.
Welcome back. That was beautiful. I love that song. Hope you enjoyed it. And just a reminder, like, please donate. Keep Military Broadcast Radio up and going, so veterans can speak what's on their mind and share, and people can learn. We were talking in regards to how grief changes you, and all kinds of grief, not just loss of a spouse, and how, making space in life. And for me, I'm trying to make more and more space for me to be able to hear the Lord and what he has for me next. And I have been looking into humanitarian work, doing some volunteering, even the Peace Corps, looking into Peace Corps. Just wanting to live with less possessions and more ability to go and help others. I don't know where exactly God is leading me, but I've stopped asking God to reveal that 10-year plan. That's hard for me. Most days, I've stopped asking that. I'm asking him to show me today's faithful step, just light the lamp into my feet, right? Just next step. I'm learning to trust his journey rather than forcing an answer, because I've really been good at that, and that never works. Yes, he can turn my bad answer, my bad direction into a good thing, and he has many times over. But I am trying truly to trust in the journey, not the destination, and not forcing answers. And that's really hard for me. I don't know if it's hard for you. Put in the comments. I will get back to them if I'm not on live today. Obviously, this is a recording, but I will come back and comment back to you. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, how life is transitioning for you. Are you trying to make things quieter in your life? Has life become more quieter in your life, just based on what's happening, the transitioning? Are you trying to hear the Lord? Are you someone that tries to force answers? Have you made some changes? Let me know. How have you done that? I would love to hear. How have you, if you're a person that really likes answers and a plan, and I'm going to do this, and, I got it. But then you've transitioned into, okay, Lord, whatever you have for me, I'm not going to push the issue. I'm not going to make an answer come. I'm going to wait. If you got some tips for doing that, I would love to hear them, because definitely need them. And then just, I would say this week, don't do what I'm tending to do. I'm always like, this week, I'm going to get everything done, have everything organized. Don't do that. Don't organize your whole life, but do what I'm trying to do, or, attempting, is just create one small space. I've done that in the mornings really well. And then I do allow during the week, I will say, okay, Shauna, if you get this done, then I give you the evening of Tuesday to be able to do whatever you want, whatever that looks like, Shauna. It's not focused on your responsibilities. It's not focused on getting something done. It's just whatever you feel like doing, even if that's like binge watching a show. So I do give myself some time to do that lately. And most importantly, I don't beat myself up about it. So I give myself some small spaces to have downtime, and I let it be downtime. If I watch 3 episodes of Dalton's Ranch or whatever in one evening, and I've given myself that time, then I let it be. I don't now, like, I'm really working towards that. That's like, okay, that's what I plan to do. That's what I wanted to do, and move forward. No, like, I can't believe you did that. That's horrible. How, because that, like, one, you did it anyway. And then 2, now you're like depressed and the worst person on the planet because you did it. Right. And it doesn't change what happened, but it does change your mindset. And I'm not advocating like doing that all the time. But if you've gotten your responsibilities done and you've made space in your schedule to do that, let yourself be, let it be. And maybe no one else beats themselves up when they do that, but I used to, and I still do at times. But yeah, just make small spaces for doing, and like do one drawer, clear out one drawer, make time for one connection in the week, have 1 hour of silence, which I need more than 1 hour. So maybe 2 hours of silence, take one walk without headphones, different things like that. And another thing I've been working on is playing, like, just have fun, laugh, like goof off. That is not in my comfort zone. Even my daughter will tell you that even when she was little, when I tried to play with her, it was awkward and weird. So I am trying to get better at that, just being like having fun, go run or jump or throw a ball or for me, paddleboard. So I hope this has helped you today. I know it's not like groundbreaking information. It's things that we all go through, but I think it's worth talking about. And like sometimes making room isn't just getting rid of things like I spoke of. Like a lot of the times it's about getting rid of things in your mind, like the clutter in your mind. It's about making room for peace, for gratitude, for purpose, and for the voice that's been waiting for us to slow down enough to hear it. And that's the huge thing in my life. Like, I know God's been like, girl, are you ever going to just stop having plans so I can tell you what the real plan is? But I used to think freedom meant having more options and having control of those. Now I think freedom means needing less so that God, when he does speak, when he does whisper, when he calls, my hands are already open and I'm ready. And I genuinely hope that's my next steps in life. Thank you for spending time with me today. I know it was just me and not a wonderful guest telling their beautiful story, but today's conversation, if it resonated with you, I'd love to hear what you're making room for this season of life. You can connect with me through Carried Forward on Military Broadcast Radio through my email, which is carried forward at MBR radio, carried forward at mbrradio.org. .us. It is carried forward at mbrradio.us. Sorry about that. You can email me there. You can always get me on Facebook. Just reach out. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're interested in being a guest, you have something that you feel that you want to say and share, please reach out to on that email. That's carried forward at mbrradio.us. And until next time, remember, no matter what you've carried, your story isn't over, and keep carrying forward. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.